Now, the accident happened on the set of Rust, a new film being made, which stars Alec Baldwin and is produced by him too.
Now, the woman who died has been named as Halyna Hutchins, a 42-year-old director of photography, and the injured man is Joel Souza, the film's director. We're now joined from Palm Springs by celebrity blogger Perez Hilton and from LA by Adam Mortimer, who was a friend and colleague of Halyna. Adam, I'm so sorry to you to hear of this absolutely devastating news. How are you feeling?
I'm really shocked. It's unbelievable that Halyna, who was a rising star, a young woman, died in a way that's unfathomable and shouldn't have happened on a movie set. She was an incredible talent, and I think we're all trying to understand how this could have happened.
I mean, you yourself are a film director. You will have, I'm sure, worked in situations where props are used. As you say, it is hard to imagine how this could have happened. What sort of checks are put in place usually to prevent something awful like this happening?
Well, normally it's unusual for somebody to be handed a gun that has the capability of firing at all, anything. And if it is going to fire something, it's only handled by a very specific chain of people. On the movie, I did a movie with Halyna just last year that had a lot of gunplay in it. And honestly, we didn't even use guns that fired anything. They didn't even fire blanks because it's possible to replace everything with CG and just use guns that make noises. So at this point, especially with all the concern we've had for the safety of people on sets, it's really bizarre that they would have been in a situation where a gun is being fired unexpectedly with a projectile in it.
And you obviously know her. She's a dear friend of yours, and as you say, only worked with her last year. I imagine she would have talked about this project to you and how excited she was to be involved in it. Have you spoken since you worked together?
You know, I knew that she had been shooting something else in Ireland. I didn't know that she had been shooting this one at all. We hadn't seen each other for a minute because of the combination of pandemic and then her world traveling exploits as a cinematographer. So I didn't know anything about this particular project.
And what was she like?
She was somebody who was absolutely dedicated to art and to integrity. She has, you know, she is Ukrainian, and she had this incredible sort of European art sensibility, so that the more things on our set would become challenging or difficult, the more that this was something that would make her want to figure out how to transcend the limitations and turn it into art. That's the thing that I loved about when I met her. I knew after probably 5 minutes of talking to her that she would be an incredible partner to work with. She just had that kind of rare sensibility when you meet somebody and say, I don't even need to see your work. I can tell already you're going to be a genius. And she was so dedicated to doing anything to make a movie feel immersive and truthful. And that was her personality all the way down.
Let's speak to Perez. Perez, it's devastating news. Now, you've covered some extraordinary stories over the years in your role, and we've spoken to you a number of times on this show. This, I mean, is just something that I don't think anybody would ever imagine in a million years will be telling this kind of story. A film that was part of the plot line of this film as well was about an accidental killing. And here we are. Alec Baldwin, one of the biggest stars in America, people know him from 30 Rock, been very outspoken about guns. He's very anti-gun. He's been very outspoken about a number of issues. And here he is in this devastating tragedy. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Yes, but it is not unheard of. Unfortunately, there have been accidents that have happened on film and television sets. Perhaps most well-known is the late son of Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, who died in 1993 on the set of The Crow. That was an accident. This was an accident. And as you mentioned, this is a terrible tragedy. And tragedies happen, but how we respond.
Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, have we got him back?
Me.
I think we have him back.
We lost you for
How
a
we
minute there, Perez.
respond.
But if you plough on and say what you were saying, how we respond, I think, is the point where we lost you.
Yes. You know, that is just as shocking, I would say, in that my job is to know what happens and to know how people are responding to it. And right now on social media, so many people are making jokes of this and also attacking Alec Baldwin for this accident that happened. Alec Baldwin didn't murder anyone. Alec Baldwin isn't personally responsible for this woman's death, tragic as it is. You know, the film has suspended production indefinitely, and everybody associated with it is traumatized, according to a release that the film sent out, and they will be providing counseling for all involved. You know, in addition to my work as a blogger, I'm also an actor and a member of the Screen Actors Guild. And as a union member, I don't think that any actor should be holding a real gun anymore. This is just another reminder, I think, that reform is needed. You know, like the director that was just speaking mentioned, you know, it can be achieved in different ways to get something realistic on film, or even rubber guns I've had director friends use that look realistic on camera. We need to just change how things work going forward so that a preventable death like this doesn't happen again.
I mean, it's worth saying we don't know at this stage, do we, Perez, whether it was a real gun with real bullets. We just don't know the details, so a lot more is still to come out.
The film did say it was a prop gun with blanks. But like with Brandon Lee, you know, it could have been a faulty prop gun. It could have been, you know, blanks that got a squib load. I think it is a malfunction that could happen. Obviously, an investigation will take place, and we will find out exactly what happened. But I think the bigger picture is, you know, even with trained stunt professionals, is it necessary to be firing guns that could hurt people? I don't think so.
Adam, let's just come to you one final time, and you know, we've got to remember Joel as well, who is in hospital at the moment, and we don't know the extent of his injuries, and he was the director. But Halyna, a good friend of yours, a terrible loss, and thoughts with her family as well. We forget that, you know, there are family members, there'll be people who are absolutely devastated. She's just gone to do her job at work, and she thinks she's going to be perfectly safe, and her family have lost her.
Yeah, I don't know how her son is going to grow up knowing that his mother died being accidentally shot on a film set. I think that's, you know, it's unfathomable.
May I ask how old her son is? Excuse my ignorance. I don't know how old her son is.
I think he's like maybe 7 or 8, something like that. He's a young child.
Goodness.
Oh, it's just devastating, isn't it? And we are, unfortunately, used to hearing about terrible gun deaths from America, but as you've both said, you do not expect it on a set, a film set, where it's make-believe, and you do not expect such tragedy to occur, do you? It's devastating. Thank you for speaking to us this morning, both of you. We're sending you our love, because I'm sure you're feeling the loss, and also please pass on to her family as well. It's absolutely devastating, isn't it?
Absolutely. Perez Hilton and Adam Mortimer, thank you both for joining us this morning. Our thoughts are with Halyna Hutchins and her family, and also